Rozanna's Violins was started in 2011. At the time, I didn't know a lot about business, but as a violist, I really saw the need to create something that could really inspire youth. I had gone to Juilliard and I found that many of my colleagues were not able to find work upon graduation. So, I realized part of this was because we weren't really preparing the students with the tools that they need. Part of those tools are creative tools. Some musicians relate to music just using their ears. Some need to have a visual component. Some need to have a physical component, like Lindsey Sterling, who's transformed the world of string playing for literally millions of people. With that in mind, I saw that there was a need for this. And, that's where my instruments began. In terms of how we stand out from the rest, I think one of the most important things is the quality that we put behind creating educational tools for the 21st century musician. I love classical music, and that's where I got my roots. But I think artists today are being influenced by Taylor Swift, by pop, rock, and all these other styles. So Rozanna's Violins very much stands out as certainly one of the first companies to address the need by youth and adult beginners and professionals to have instruments that reflect the changing tide of string playing. We've got wonderful examples of our instruments played by incredible artists like Alex Cameron. He used our Blue Lightning when he was performing the national anthem. Rafael Batista, many examples, and we're loading on more and more samples on our website. We stand behind the quality, using the best quality woods, spruce, maple, ebony, meeting MENC standards, that are required by teachers and definitely teacher and player tested. Some of these instruments have a really interesting history and are actually history makers, if I may say. For example, the two modestly in the back were actually commissioned by Guitar Center musicians' friends when they asked us to create a violin to sell with the music to Frozen. And then subsequently, we created a violin sold with the music to Star Wars, which is this little fella in the middle here. Obviously, we couldn't take the exact material from the movie, but we created something that we kind of felt was inspired. This one, actually, the Butterfly Dream, was one of the very first violins that we designed, a very basic instrument, but the idea was to use the violin compositionally. And that has been a theme behind everything that we do, that we don't just put some kind of random work of art on an instrument, but factor in the contour of the instrument and where you want to place the instrument, the design accordingly. And then finally, we think about the audience and how that instrument will be perceived. And the audience doesn't see something from a distance the same way you or I would see it close up. So that's where we sort of factored in this. One other thing that's kind of cool about this violin, as you can see on this one, for the fine tuners, we have different colors. So that brings an educational component into it, because some teachers struggle to help their students remember the names of the strings. This Native American Spirit is actually one of our newest models, but this is also one of those in that family of Native American Spirit. So in keeping with the company sort of motto or belief that music should make people become more aware and appreciative of their environment, we wanted to create this Native American Spirit violin that really showed appreciation for the Native American roots that we are all so fortunate to be a part of. So my favorite violin is probably the one that I'm working on next, because that's always where my inspiration and excitement is. Right now, that's currently with my obsession for the Gilded Age and also Bridgerton. I love the music to both of them, and actually the instrumentation really lends itself to an instrument, so that's my latest passion. So my personal fun fact was going to music school, actually a music camp with Yo-Yo Ma. And at that time, I guess he was like about 12 or 13, and he was already just a stellar player. But the fun fact is that he absolutely hated the pancakes at Meadowmount, and he once he created graffiti art in the parking lot, and he got into a lot of trouble, but not for long, because he was the wonderful and charming Yo-Yo Ma.